Will you please turn to those around you and recognize their worth and dignity? Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist congregation. We are so glad to have you here. I'm Reverend Bob Renjilian. I am the minister. I use he, him pronouns. Our mission is to support individual spiritual journeys and to promote social, economic, and environmental justice. We're glad you're with us. Whether you're here live in person or joining us online, I'm glad you took the time to listen in. I have a few announcements. One, I'm going to start with a Habitat for Humanity announcement. We, at last minute, was asked to please find some volunteers really quick. They're about to decontaminate a household that was damaged during Helene, and they've got to get stuff out of that house. And this is really tough for the family to have all their stuff taken out. Nancy Richards, I'll have stand up. She's the one to talk to. If you can volunteer tomorrow, Nancy's coordinating that. And she says that Amanda's a really sweet lady, having a hard time letting go of her things, and she needs a little help. And she can explain more to you on all of that. But we've helped out Habitat for Humanity with various things in the past, so they knew they could emergency come to us and say, we need you. Nancy, you would have access to the forms so they can sign up and all of that. Is there anything I left out?
We'll fill them out tomorrow. It'll only be a couple hours in the morning from 10 to probably 12-ish or 1 at the latest. It's in Cedar Mountain. I can tell you more, but yeah.
So she says, yeah. So are you meeting here before 10 to be able to go over together, or are you just going?
We're meeting up there in Cedar.
You're going to meet in Cedar Mountain, and it starts at 10 and goes for a couple hours, maybe 3 if needed, depending on how many people and how much you can really help out. We'll light a candle later for Amanda and her sons during the service. Let's see, other pieces of this. Announcements. I noticed that the Jewish community has restarted their lecture series, and the next one is a couple of Sundays from now. On Sunday, April 27th, Dr. Laura Baker is speaking on Jews on Broadway, Shaping the Spotlight. It'll be 3:30 p.m. at Parker Concert Hall. It's free. We've been a part of hosting that series in the past, and so we wanted to be sure to get that word out there. Next week is Easter Sunday, and we're asking that you please bring some canned goods for the teens and adults to hide for the children's Easter hunt. For those of you who are new here, we're not putting stuff out there that is plasticky, sugary, but Kevin, there are rewards for people who find the cans. So the kids who come, and if you need to abscond with your neighbor's kid to come and do this, just ask permission. But we do, instead of an egg hunt, a canned goods hunt. And so that then all of that goes to Sharing House. There will also be an optional communion service, so we'll do the whole Easter Sunday service. And believe me, what we have doesn't look anywhere near as fancy as that. We're using non-alcoholic kosher grape juice and gluten-free crackers in the service, but we'll have it in the large classroom. So as soon as the service is ended, I will walk out that door and make sure we're ready for communion for those of you who'd like to try it out. It's based on the 1930s Red Hymn Book for the Unitarians and the Universalists, and the services that were in there. And so if you're just curious and say, well, I would love to see how Unitarians and Universalists went and did this. And I think I threw in an Australian version of the Lord's Prayer in the middle of it too. So please, you're all invited. We have a special announcement now from Mike, who will tell us more.
Whoa, it's that time of year again. It's auction time. So mark your calendars, Friday, May 2nd, 5 to 7 p.m., that's our kickoff. So what can you do? Bring donations, and when it's time to bid, bid high, bid often. The donations have started pouring in. You can see the bulletin boards out there as you go out for your coffee this morning. But we still need more items. We need items to sell. We need fun get-togethers. We need vacation homes. We need special skills if you have those to offer to sell. So pick up a donor form outside. Make your contribution. Special themed dinners, top-notch art, folk art, gently used items, but no garage stuff, please. Then come on May 2nd, ready to buy tickets to events and start the bidding. And the bidding is all electronic, digital, internet. You know that. You remember that from years past. And there'll be some surprises at the kickoff. So check out the news on the bulletin board and ask any auction team member for information. And here we go.
And now may you enter into this time of worship together with the beauty of the music that Carlene brings to us.
The chalice lighting this morning, words are from Vance Bass, and if you join me, and we'll do this in unison. Every day brings struggle. Every day brings joy. Every day brings us the opportunity to ease the struggle of another, to be the joy in another's life. May this flame remind us to carry our light to each other and to the world. Now, if you'll join me, and as your Willis and we'll do the joys and sorrows now, the candles of joys and sorrows from Reverend Bob.
Would you like this one or the new lighter?
Let me have that one. I'm old-fashioned.
As we gather each week, we have the chance to lift up some joys and sorrows. I see we have several notes here. I'm going to start with one that was sent to me. We briefly mentioned it a moment ago. Let's see. We're asking for a light, for courage for Amanda and her two sons. The family will be helping on Monday, tomorrow, as they have to let go of their belongings that have been irredeemably damaged by water in order to facilitate cleanup. This will be 3 candles, Mike. 3 candles lit in joy and concern. These are from Dan Clem. To my oldest brother, turning 85 today, Rich. Another to my son Tim in Louisville, dealing with multiple medical issues. And the third one to the spirit of my first wife, Diana, who passed away 3 years ago today. This anonymous note is a candle praying for peace and hope in our nation. Loie and Bruce light this candle of gratitude for Sharon Gublow and her family from Wonderful Wednesday, which was such a joy. Sharon Gublow lights a candle, a prayer of comfort for my friend Penny Santry and her family on the loss of her beloved mother. Diane Weaver lights a candle of joy to share with us. She is expecting her first grandchild in early June, a girl. Gypsy Richardson lights a candle, which I would say gypsies from all of us as well. A candle to keep R.K. Young in your thoughts. Unfortunately, she sustained a concussion very recently and is still out on medical leave. We light a candle for those things not yet shared, held in the hearts of those who are here among us or those who are online who cannot be with us. Let's hold spaces open in our conversations to listen, to hear, to share in those joys, in those sorrows, and to reach out to one another in love. Thank you.
If you'll join me in a responsive reading of the opening words here from Amy Zucker Morgenstern.
The response is a very simple one. Why don't you read it out loud?
All right, the response is, may our lives bloom like the flowers. Each of us is a flower with a delicate beauty uniquely our own. We may be like sunflowers, turning always toward the light. May our lives bloom like the flowers. We may be like night blooming cereus, only displaying our fragrant petals when it's dark and when we think no one else can see.
May our lives bloom like the flowers.
We may be hothouse flowers, far from our native lands, cautiously tended within a harsh and unfamiliar climate.
May our lives bloom like the flowers.
We may be gray-headed like dandelions, eager to launch the new generation with the first strong gust of wind past our bright youth, but ready to pass our wisdom on and precious gossamer-carried seeds.
May our lives bloom like the flowers.
Some of us sometimes spring up overnight and fade in the hot glare.
May our lives bloom like the flowers.
Some of us sometimes, as roses, slowly assembling petal after lightly wrapped petal and revealing our full glory only when everything is in place.
May our lives bloom like the flowers.
Sometimes we are roadside weeds, lovelessly bursting improbably from the dust and debris.
May our lives bloom like the flowers.
May we offer our beauty with the simplicity of flowers, expecting no recognition, hoping for nothing, giving out of what we are and knowing it is enough.
May our lives bloom like the flowers.
Amen. And now if you'll rise and join us as you are willing and able, please do the first hymn.
For the beauty of the earth, for the splendor of the skies, for the love which from above over and around us lies, source of all to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. For the joy of you and I, for the heart and mind's delight, for the mystic harmony, making sense to sound and sight. Source of all to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. For the wonder of each hour, of the day and of the night, hill and vale and tree and flower, sun and moon and stars of light, source of all to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. For the joy of human care, sister, brother, parent, child, for the kinship we all share, for all gentle thoughts and mild, source of all to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. I invite forward Kristen and the others who are going to be helping out with this new member ceremony.
Good morning. My name is Kristen. I'm wearing it. Most of you know me. I like this day a lot. I think this is a wonderful moment in our congregation. I always enjoy it so much when new people who have joined our community are here today, and we get a chance to welcome them ceremoniously with all our heart. It's like the hymn said, the kinship of community. I thought that was perfect for what we're going to do today. We've seen them before in coffee hour. They've been visitors. Maybe they joined a while ago, but since our last class was offered, we'd like to recognize them today. They went through our orientation. They took steps to sign the book. And we want to thank them for their presence and their decision to be part of our community. It really makes all of us joyful that you've decided to be here with us. So I'd like them to come forward. If I've missed someone, and you have joined recently and have not been part of such a ceremony, please raise your hand. But I think we've got it. So, and this is in no particular order, just whatever was typed into our word processor. Oh, yeah, that person. Well, so Nate Kornblum, did I say it right?
Yeah,
Are you here today?
Nat.
Oh, hello, Natalie, I would think, but Nat.
You can stay right
Zach
there. Just
Hall.
stay there.
And just sort of line up here like you're the graduating class or something. Buddy Tompkins. Thank you. Diane Weaver. Yay, Diane. Corals. Kelly G. Did I say it right? Kelly G. Everybody thinks you have an initial for a last name, probably.
Hey, Kelly.
Suzanne Clark. Welcome, Suzanne. Dan Clem. Lynn Smith. And Eric Young should be up here today, but he couldn't be here, so I
And you're missing Bill. Somehow
Am
we
I
left
missing
Bill.
Bill? All right, you're the guy who raises your hand because, yeah, come on in. Bill what? Snyder. I'll get it right. There'll be a quiz later.
Here you go, Bill.
So here, and I'm going to be speaking to everybody, but you don't have to turn around and look at me unless you want to. I'm just apologizing, and you know because this is about you and the congregation. So I speak for the congregation, not as Kristen. When you walk into a UU congregation, it's tempting to sort of joyfully say, wow, these are my people. And we've all experienced that moment when we feel like we're welcome here and this is our place. But then you're going to find out that everybody here is actually different from one another. We have different opinions. Nobody has it all figured out. We are nevertheless a diverse group of people. And so Reverend Pobb asked me to remind all of us that have your disillusions early. Figure out that somebody might hurt your feelings someday, or we're not going to live up to that wonderful first moment of joy. Not all the time. At moments, yes, but not all the time. We will get things wrong sometimes. And the real strength of this congregation is actually our diversity. And that happens when each member retains their vision of how we can be a great community. Use your own perspective to take us to places where we should go. Nurture, educate, and lead us toward our best selves. Each of you has a perspective that is unique. Don't give it up. As the philosopher ascribed to the Unitarian preacher, Francis David of the 1500s in Transylvania in Eastern Europe, if you went to my class, you'll remember this. He was famously quoted as saying, "We need not think alike to love alike." I'd like to invite Alice to join me now. Alice is going to give you a little gift, a little token for you. It's a chalice pin. Our chalice, as you recall, is two circles representing the overlapping coming together of Unitarians and Universalists and their heritage. You can see a 3D version of that frame in our chalice every time we begin our service. Anyway, wear it. Wear it here, wear it out and about, and wear it knowing that it was our gift to you on this day. We're going to have a responsive reading, please, now. The words are from Reverend Richard S. Gilbert, and words will be on the screen. And the congregation, would you join me on the yellow lines? We bid you welcome, who come with weary spirit seeking rest.
Who come with troubles too much with you. Come hurt and afraid.
We bid you welcome, who come with hope in your heart.
Who come with anticipation in your step, who come proud and joyous.
We bid you welcome, who are seekers of a new faith.
Who come to probe and explore, who come to learn.
We bid you welcome, who enter this hall as homecoming.
Who have found here room for your spirit, who find in this people a family.
Whoever you are, whatever you are, wherever you are on your journey, we bid you welcome. Before you sit down, we have Nancy would like to say hello. She's our president. We can't all get up and shake your hand, so Nancy is extending our love on our behalf. Such a welcome ceremony would not be complete without a blessing from our delightful Reverend.
So I have a blessing to share with you. And it's actually a blessing I've used in dedication of babies, children in our congregation, but it really fits the New Member Sunday. May your thoughts be wise. May your lips speak truth. May your heart know love. And may the work of your hands be blessed all the days of your life. Amen and welcome. You can return to your seats. It does not appear that we're singing children to their classes, so Alice, I invite you forward for our special collection announcement.
Thank you, Bob.
Hi, I'm Alice Hardy, and I'm here representing this morning the Children's Center of Transylvania County. I should have a little guy up on their screen. There he is. This little guy here is not one of our center's regular visitors. He is a beloved and healthy grandchild of one of our staff members. He reminds us daily of the dream we have for each of the children we serve. April is Prevent Child Abuse Month. It is a perfect time to tell you a little bit about the center. We are located just around the corner on South Johnson Street. You'll know us by our pinwheels. No, children do not live there. They visit us under the guidance of their assigned social worker. It is there that they are united with their parent by court order on a regular basis. This is motivation for the parent to attend nurturing parent programs and classes and to work hard to be permanently united with their child. The families we work with are categorized as chronically homeless. Most parents have been incarcerated at one time or another, and usually it's because of substance abuse or violence, mostly violence against their child. Unfortunately, this is a generational behavior and the way the parents themselves were raised. They know no other way to raise children. We work to break that cycle. Since January 1st of this year, we have hosted 111 visits involving 164 children and 260 adults. Some of the children are in foster care, either in Transylvania County or other counties due to the shortage of foster homes here. Or they're living with grandparents or other relatives who have been vetted by the courts and by DSS. A very few of the children are in the process of being adopted. which means that the parents have relinquished all rights to their child. Many will remain in the system and will be moved from place to place until they turn 18. Much effort is put into uniting children with their families. Parents are required to take parenting classes, and many hurdles must be met by the parents before they get their child back. The Children's Center helps this process along in many ways. During visits, the children get to play with many toys, books, and games that we have available. In good weather, they play outdoors on our fenced-in yard. And most importantly to them, they get snacks. Healthy snacks are always available to the children and to the adults at our center. Our staff of 2 and our volunteers welcome everyone with smiles and work always to guide the parents through the responsibilities of being a parent. How can you help? Well, certainly through monetary contributions. But the staff has already asked me if I would plead with you. If you have any outdoor toys that your grandchildren or children may have outgrown, would you consider donating them to us? We're looking for some fun things, new fun things to play with in the backyard this summer. Oh, and one more thing. String cheese. This is like gold at the Children's Center. If you come across a sale on string cheese, please keep us in mind. I brought this basket. I have other things in here that the children love. Mostly non-perishable. This is something, if you bring it into church, would you please put it in the refrigerator? I'll pick it up during the month. Or you can stop by the Children's Center. They would love to welcome you and have you go on a little tour of our place. So string cheese is important. So I'm going to leave this basket. I'm taking this home, though. I'm going to leave this basket on the front counter. Reverend Bob has given me permission to do that. Also, while you're out there, would you pick one of these up, please? And it will tell you all about the programs we have at the center. I don't have time. Reverend Bob wouldn't give me time to talk about it. But it all is explained on the back. And I want to say thank you for all the years of support.
Money placed in the baskets will go to the good work of this congregation. The money placed into the envelope will go to the Children's Center. We will now gratefully receive the morning offering. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Michael. Somebody left us with a washer, too. For all that was given with love, we receive with great joy. Thank you. I invite you to take a deep breath, settle yourself in for this time of meditation and prayer. Spirit of love and life, we who are gathered here today reach out in our thoughts to those who are worshiping in other locations, whose own pathways to life are, in our minds, valid, real, though different from us, yet the same in yearnings for respect and dignity, for freedom to worship as we wish. On this week of Passover, we recognize the Jewish community in the midst of their observations. We celebrate those who are making major milestones in their lives, a birthday, a retirement. In particular, this morning, we lift up Dan Clem's older brother, Rich, and in anticipation, Diane Weaver's expected grandchild. We also know that there are those who are suffering in grief, suffering in illness, on this day, we lift up the name of Diana, Dan Clem's first wife. We lift up Tim, who is dealing with multiple medical issues. We lift up Sharon's friend Penny and her family on the loss of her beloved mom. We lift up R.K. Young, still suffering with her concussion. May our hearts go out to all those who are facing griefs, pain, with hopes that our hearts may find joy again and that our loved ones are healed. We pray for peace for this world and hope for our nation. And we lift up with gratitude the joys in our lives, the wonder of the music that is shared with us, those who are in the room today sharing. We pray with gratitude that they have wonderfully brought joy to us, and for those who have helped with the wonderful Wednesday and the celebrations we have. For we are not a sleepy little congregation, for we are alive and dancing, and our hearts sing. May these and the prayers of our hearts and the meditations of our minds we hold now in the silence. the names of all those known and unknown, remembered and forgotten, in the names of all the helpers of humankind, we say amen. Blessed be. The reading that I have for you this morning is from my colleague in ministry. These are the words of Reverend Tess Bomberger. It's called "The Days of Too Many Flowers." And I got this through the shared materials for Soul Matters Consortium congregations. We have those days of no flowers, just weeds. You know the kind I mean. The days when the trials and tribulations seem most present. The days when the commitments we make exceed the time we meant to give. And yet it is all such good work and there's more to do. The days when someone is snarky and we snark right back. The days our own mistakes that we cannot admit to ourselves. The days of criticism we take too much to heart, ignoring all previous and future praise. The days when we simply cannot summon compassion for those who push our buttons, no matter how hard we try to do so. We all know those days of no flowers in our life, when the weeds rise up and seem to choke out the beauty. Then there are the days of more flowers than vases can hold. And you know those days. The days of fun and productivity, where creativity is queen in loving and thoughtful ways. Days when everything flows. The days when people treat one another gently. Even when someone is snarky, even if it is you. When a thoughtful silence wraps you and them in a holy moment of connection. The days when you can take criticism with a grain of salt, and praise and positive feedback with a thankful, open hand. The days when exactly the right thought or word or action occurs to you at exactly the right moment. And you think it, or say it, or do it. And you witness something opening up inside you, or in another person, or in the garden spaces between you. These are the days of too many flowers for any vase to hold. May this be a day of too many flowers for you. And in the coming weeks and months, may such days grow in number and frequency for each of us. May we rejoice in the abundance of our blessings. So the joy of flowers among the weeds. I love this topic, and it's perfect for this time of year, all the muck and mud and rain and everything we've had. Now, some of that has knocked down petals from the pears or made it wonderful for dandelions, but you know what? We've got bulbs coming up again and again. We've got that bright green of spring coming out in the fresh new leaves on those bushes or trees that have had nothing to look at. I've been criticized now for a couple weeks in a row in the men's group. As I sit where I sit in the circle and I glance out the window at the dogwood tree out here in the parking lot. Just I don't know why it's taken so long, but it's like every week it's just a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. I don't know what it is about this dogwood tree. And the person who sits under the window is always saying, "Reverend Bob, why are you looking at me?" I said, "I'm not. I'm looking at the dogwood tree." It's it's great to see the abundance of spring. Spring is a season that makes no sense. It doesn't. I mean, it's been woven into religious ceremonies and things because it is just so outlandish. It's bold. It is so tiringly energetic. Can you imagine all the work it takes to pump up from the roots, spring out through the ground or up the trunk and all the way and out, and I'm exhausted thinking of all of that. But it's the joy of it, the exuberance of it. When you say spring, you have to think the bounce in your step. You have to think about, well, I say you have to. You have to think about it. Well, I have to think about it. I have to think about this and the way in which we have such joy in looking at the flowers that are out there. Thich Nhat Hanh. I said I'd quote Thich Nhat Hanh in this ceremony today, and it is a quote that I have read and reflected on for decades now. Thich Nhat Hanh said, "If in our daily lives we could smile, if we can be peaceful and happy, not only we, but everyone will profit from it. If we really know how to live, what better way to start the day than with a smile? Our smile affirms our awareness and determination to live in peace and joy. The source of a true smile is an awakened mind. How can you remember to smile when you wake up? You might hang a reminder such as a branch or a leaf, a painting, or some inspiring words in your window or from the ceiling above your bed so that you notice it when you wake up. Once you develop the practice of smiling, you may not need a reminder. You will smile as soon as you hear a bird singing or see the sunlight streaming through the window. Smiling helps you approach the day with gentleness and understanding. When I see someone smile, I know immediately that he or she is dwelling in awareness. Our smile will bring happiness to us and to those around us, even if we spend a lot of money on gifts for everyone in our family. Nothing we buy could give them as much happiness as the gift of our awareness and our smile. And this precious gift costs us nothing. At the end of a retreat in California, a friend wrote this poem. I have lost my smile, but don't worry, the dandelion has it. Now, if you have lost your smile, yet are still capable of seeing that a dandelion is keeping it for you, the situation is not so bad. You still have enough mindfulness to see that the smile is there. You only need to breathe consciously 1 or 2 times and you'll recover your smile. The dandelion is one member of your community of friends. It's there, quite faithful, keeping your smile for you. In fact, everything around you is keeping your smile for you. You know, I have a unique relationship to dandelions. When I was a kid, I used to, go around and pick them. And we have a picture of our youngest with a dandelion that had converted all the way to seed. And she's just joyously young in life, blowing on those seeds and sending them out over our lawn. I have a habit of leaving the dandelions while they are blooming and then snatching them up and taking them off my lawn when they've gone to seed. And because I'm inefficient in that process, we still have plenty of dandelions throughout the season to be able to see if they have the smile for us at home. When I come to this congregation, I see the beautiful natural plantings, the recognition plaque that we have from that, from our Tuesday Grow Getters. We have transformed just a little plot. And I watch people walk by. And one or two, if I'm out there at the right time, have said, I just so enjoy looking at these. And there are labels on some of the plants. And we have a new member who said, you have these. I see you have these in your bog. And I said, yes, we built that bog for those plants. And it seems as if every week there's some amount of pruning and weeding. In fact, I almost ran over Bonnie because she had backed out into the street, into a shady place, wearing nothing but gray sweatsuit in the shade to weed the edge of the curb as I come swinging around the corner to come to work that morning. We have very dedicated volunteers who bravely put themselves in places of danger to make sure that this place looks great. And we have people who just, one time or another, do what's needed. I remember as a kid experiencing in my Unitarian Universalist congregation, walking up to the building that we met in, and it had a rose bush right near the entry. And there was a man plucking off some roses, just the heads. And, you know, like, what is this? Is this like Adam's family? You only want the thorns? And he saw me looking at him curiously. And this old man said, I do this, I pinch these off so that the next blooms will be even bigger. So the blooms have been allowed to bloom, and you see them, and then you make way for more. I'm still not theologically sure on the way he did that. But he was a good universalist and believed that everyone was wonderful, beautiful, and would not be condemned to hell for an eternity. And so I'm really hoping it was still the right thing to do, even though I don't go around pinching roses off our bushes. What are weeds? The dandelions, if you let them go, would in fact choke out other things. But they do provide something for the bugs, for those that need some pollen, and they're bright. I wore yellow and purple today, and I said to Christy, is yellow and purple okay to put together? Because it felt very flowery to me. She said, yeah, it's actually better than the orange and burnt orange that you wore earlier in the week. Not that she said anything on that day when she saw me, but yeah. Weeds. And I'm kind of saying this in a way that Christy and I were out there doing a whole bunch of stuff outside in our yard. And we even took down a little mini Christmas tree that some previous owner, maybe 14 years ago, had put in. And it did not make it through the most recent drought time when we had the fires. So it won't be able to hold Christmas lights this year because it's now thrown in the woods, ready to rot. But we were out there, and I'm looking at weeds and saying, yep, we got to get that one and that one and that one. Because in life, in society, we have situations in which we know there are some people, some organized groups who would like to take over and blanket everything and cut out the light and the oxygen from everything else around. And if you're going to confront that kind of weed in society, you know that not even the dandelions are going to grow. I know that In the early days, and I've mentioned this in sermons before, Americans were just fascinated by kudzu. And they wanted to put it on their trellises and across their porches in the South and see the lovely flowering when it happened. And it looked so sophisticated to have it just instantly flow over. And then it continued to flow over and over and over. And what we first think, maybe this is a real great idea, ends up being invasive. And we got to call it for what it is. And we drive along the roads and see the white pines covered with the stuff, the fields covered with it, the bike lane covered with it. It's everywhere. We say, you know what? We made a mistake. If we can see the joy of having the flowers, if we can see the wonder, we know that we cannot have just one thing choking out everything else. Even if at first we thought it was a neat thing, we can't have it choking it out. Theologically, I'm still, like I said, not sure we need to take off each of the roses as we see them bloom. But I do think that there are ways in which we stand up to the encroachment of things that choke out the oxygen in our society. Thank you to those of you who went to a protest last weekend. Thank you to those of you who come and literally pull weeds every Tuesday. Thank you to any who are saying to your Jewish neighbors, hey, it's Passover, isn't it? I recognize that. Some way of saying in a society in which it seems that nobody has recognition for the diversity we have around us, that we can say, I see you, and you're beautiful. I make room for you. Because my life is better because you're in it. The dandelion has my smile. May that bring us peace and joy. Thank you. I love and before we sing our final hymn, I love the line in what we just sang, and Janice, thank you for leading us with Carlene in this song that we sung. You know, I have joy like a fountain in my soul, and when your hope is nearly dies, just remember once again, you shall rise. Maybe we're each that flower that comes out. Thank you for singing that. We're going to end with a hymn that we sung, I think, 2 years ago. Since you don't all remember it, the choir warmed up and practiced on Wednesday with it. It's number 196, Singer of Life, and it has a Native American flavor to it. So you may not be quite so interested in how the harmonies go, and you may be hanging on to what the actual notes will be. And Carlene's going to help us, and we're all going to sing along. And I'm going to pull open a hymn book to 196 so that I can sing from the microphone and help too. Please rise as you're willing and able. Singer of life, all flowers are songs, with petals do you of life, you color the earth, dazzling the eye with birds red and bright. Joy is for us, the flowers are spread, singing is our delight. Mortal are we with all living things, with eagles in the sky. Even all gold and jade will not last, singing alone I know cannot die. Here in this house of springtime bestow songs that like birds can fly. I'm grateful that our hymn book commission back in the 90s included that Texcoco Nahuatl poem. This is but a small light, and yet its glow means so much. Though we extinguish it, it doesn't end it. We know it comes back up again. Much like out of winter into spring each week, we have a reignition and light and warmth. And our little helper candle remind us that helpers are always needed, here to pull off what we do on Sundays or to help those still recovering from the storms in their lives. When this light goes out in this space, the intent is that you become the blessing and light as you go out into the world. Pull a few weeds. Make room for the flowers. Maybe you hold someone else's smile. Blessed be. Amen.